T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Thug life.
And here we go.
I prayed that he would burn in hell, but in my heart, I knew hell would not have him.
This is as far as you go. No more.
Hello, Sydney. Are you alive? God damn you.
Wish I had you all alone, just the two of us.
Ooh, baby, 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 ooh, baby.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Movies and Beyond. Once again, I am Michael, and today, well, shit, we're back, baby. We are back. It has been a couple weeks since I've been on here, and let me tell you something, StreamYard is looking crazy. It is looking different. I'm going to have to play with this. I am glad that everything went right to start this off. That's fantastic. I should have probably logged into it a little earlier than I did, but it worked. It worked. I'm going to definitely play with this thing. It looks like there's some cool shit on here that they've done. Anywho, what's going on, people? It's Friday. It's Paranormal Friday at that. And not only is it Paranormal Friday, today we're going to do our deep look. Well, as deep as the documentary goes that we're going to watch of Amityville. And I mean, I definitely wanted to do this one. If you guys remember, we did the what the hell was that one called? The last one we did, the one in London, we did that one. The Amityville Poltergeist, we did that one. And now this is the second one that we're doing. We're doing Amityville, and I wanted to get this one up early. It's one of the early shows because it's such a famous haunting. Probably one of the most famous hauntings that, that's out there, right? Amityville. Everybody kind of knows what Amityville is, but probably because of the movies, right? Let me see who I have in the chat for tonight. Let me get up here. You guys are going already. Let's see. Jerry Wilson is in the chat saying, hello, Michael. Let's get it. Love Amityville. I love Amityville too, man. I do. It has been a while since I've seen the movie. I started watching it I guess it was about 2 weeks ago at this point, but I didn't get to finish it. So I'm a big fan of Margot Kidder. Josh Brolin was in it as well. It was good. The amount that I got through. I own the movie. I just didn't finish it. I don't remember what happened, but that's a whole thing for something else. Jerry's also saying teleport your finger over that like button and smash it. Yes, any way that you have to put your finger over that like button, please do so and hit that like button. You all know it helps out the channel. Paula's in the chat saying hi to everyone. What's up, Paula? And if I haven't said this yet, Paula has started a channel of her own. You guys should go over and check it out. I still have, I get the shorts notifications that she puts up. I try to check them all out. Hit that like button. Paula, you're doing good things over there. So if you guys haven't supported her yet, please go over and do so. Let's see here. Val from Val's Views is in the chat. The General is in the chat. And the General always gets a salute from Movies and Beyond. What's up, Val? I hope you're having a happy Friday as well. Happy Paranormal Friday. Let's see. And James has entered the chat. The Shape is in the chat saying, hi, folks. Hope you all had a great week. I had a great week, James. I hope you did too, my friend. And I'll probably get to see you tomorrow. We have the costume contest tomorrow. So hopefully I'll see you up there, buddy. You're going to be a participant. Are you doing Michael Myers? Is the Shape going to be the Shape? Let me know. Let me know. Michelle's in the chat as well saying hi to everyone. What's up, Michelle? I hope you're having a great day, a great Friday, a great Paranormal Friday. Always good to see you here. Always good to see you here. Let's see. Jacob Ware is in the chat as well saying, what's up, everyone? What's up, Jacob? I hope you're doing well, my friend. I hope you had fun at Scarefest. I looked for you, man. So, Jacob, this is funny. So, Sunday, I was in line to meet Ari, Jason #1, and I saw a part 3 Jason, and I looked over and I was like, do you think that's Jacob? It could have been. Were you a part 3 Jason walking around on Sunday? If so, I may have seen you. I'm not sure. But glad to see you here, my man. Always good to see you here. Let's see. Here it is right here. Scarefest was fun, but I couldn't find you. Yeah, man. We were there. We were definitely there. I was looking for you. Oh, let's see. Melissa's in the chat as well saying hi, Michael. What's up, Melissa? I hope you're having a great week, my friend, and happy Paranormal Friday. Let's see. And James is saying, great to see you back on. Thanks, buddy. It's great to be back on. A little rusty. Like whenever I take like a week or two off, you wouldn't think so, but you do get like a little, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's kind of hard to, you guys probably don't notice, or maybe you do. I don't know. I really don't know. I want to make sure that I got everybody. Look at all you guys in here. All right. Sweet. James is saying, I got my knife nice and sharp for tomorrow. Oh, no. You're coming with the legit. Which shape are you going to be, James? Are you going with Kills? Are you going with Rob Zombie? Which one are you going to be? I want to know. Actually, don't tell me. I want to see. I want to be surprised with that. So, with it being Paranormal Friday, we're going to dive into Amityville. And I have a video for us. So, when we did the Enfield Poltergeist, we had a video done by these same people that we watched, and I thought they did a great job with it, so I stuck with them. So hopefully they'll give some great insight on Amityville. It looks like it's broken up into different parts here. The massacre, the haunting, the investigation, the controversy. Ooh, because there's a lot of controversy with that, and that looks like that's a good chunk of it too. So I'm definitely looking forward to what they have to say with that, because to my knowledge, and I'm not the most knowledgeable person, as you guys know, and I never promote myself as knowing everything. Hell, I don't even promote myself as knowing 25% of anything. But one of the things with these is I like to learn stuff along with you guys. But what I have heard, and I have heard that this was the haunting that kind of gave the Warrens their like street cred and their notoriety. Like it's kind of the one that made them, like that's kind of what I heard. This is all before I was born, obviously. You can only go by what you hear, and hopefully this will give some insight into that. And I definitely like to see what they have to say with that. But with that being said, I do have the video all set up and ready to go, which is not Always something that I do, but tonight I am somewhat squared away, which is both scary and kind of awesome. So I'm very happy about that. But before I do slide it over, I see that Jerry Wilson has hit 8 months as a Movies and Beyond membership. I didn't even know I was doing memberships for 8 months. Man, time flies when you're having fun. Jerry, congratulations, my friend. Everything you do for this channel, you know it's greatly appreciated. I love you, my friend, and thank you so much for all you do here. And he's saying 8 months already. Love you, bro. Love you too, man. Thanks for freaking everything, dude, and congratulations, my friend. Always happy to have you here, brother. It wouldn't be the same without you, that's for sure. All right, so let me go ahead and bring this over. See if I don't mess that up. That would be awesome. Close it out before we even get started here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit play on this. This is the disturbing true story of the Amityville Horror. So we'll see what they have to say. You guys in the chat always know the drill, so let's make sure that you guys let me know on sound. And here we let me turn this up just a little bit. Let me try that again. And here we go.
It's not puppy love. It's the real thing.
The first shot rang around the house around 3 a.m. on Wednesday, November the 13th, 1974. There were 7 people in the house, 6 of whom were tucked up in their beds, cozy, warm, and safe. For me,
what's up, DJ?
The most chilling aspect of the entire story that we're covering tonight is this very moment.
Oh.
A Marlin rifle is fired, an exceptionally loud gun, 9 times over the next 15 minutes. No neighbours hear a thing on this quiet, early winter night. But more disturbingly, neither did anyone in this house. 6 people were shot. If the official story is to be believed, not one of them got up. They laid in their beds and one by one waited for death to visit them. This bizarre act of brutal violence would lead to one of the most infamous real-life horror stories of all time. Tonight we're going deep into the true story of the Amityville Horror.
So, before we go
know
any
the Amityville
further and get into chapter 1 here, there is, something I do want to say about that, because that's something that, always got me. Like, of course, going into this, I didn't know how many shots were fired. I don't know the exact amount, but I do know that there were multiple shots fired of a gun that was really loud, and all the people were still in the beds. You know what I mean? So it's just like, how does that happen? Like, how do you not hear that and not jump out of bed? Like, I sleep like a truck, but it seems like, I don't know, I'm kind of weird. Like, a train could go through a room and I wouldn't wake up, but let somebody be trying to be quiet in a room and I instantly wake up. I don't know if that's something from the military. I don't know where that came from, but either way, I'm kind of rambling on. You would think that people would jump up, hearing a shotgun in your house. It's kind of going to wake you up. So I'm curious to see what they have to say about this. Let's go ahead and continue.
I know the Amityville story has been done to death, but I just couldn't resist revisiting it. For myself, and I'm sure many of you out there, Amityville is the haunted house story. It's the first incident of a haunted house I remember reading about when I was a child, and was likely one of the first supernatural stories I'd really come across. I remember catching parts of one of the awful later films on TV and it terrifying me. I remember how even friends and family members who had no interest in this kind of thing knew what you meant when you said Amityville. It's more ingrained in popular culture than almost any example of the paranormal I can think of. We're going to be splitting this story into 4 parts. The horrific murder of the DeFeo family as they slept in their beds and the resulting trial. In part 2, we'll go over the infamous 28-day stay of the house's new owners. Then we'll take a look at the investigations into the reported paranormal encounters, before finally talking about the controversies of the entire case and try to pin down what actually happened in this now iconic house. So let's go back to that night in November 1974. We're going to go with the official events of what happened that night, but rest assured we will be talking about the many different accounts. Ronnie DeFeo Jr., or Butch as he was known, was the oldest of 5 children. To say he was a troubled young man was an understatement, and it speaks volumes that after the story of what happened came out, no one in the community was seemingly surprised. His family lived at 112 Ocean Avenue, Amityville, a beautiful waterside village on the south shore of Long Island. It appears that at around 3 a.m. in the morning, Ronnie Jr. walked into his parents' bedroom and then shot both his father, Ronnie DeFeo Sr., age 43, and his mother, Louise DeFeo, 42, firing at them both twice, before then heading to the bedrooms of his siblings, his brothers John and Mark, aged 9 and 10 respectively, his younger sister Allison, 13, before finally heading up to the top of the house and entering his sister Dawn's room, aged 18. All the bodies were found face down in their beds, as though they hadn't moved an inch, as Ronnie walked around the house, executing his family, one by one. No neighbours reported any kind of disturbance, although one did claim to have heard of DeFeo's pet dog barking around the time of the murders, but they did not hear a single gunshot. It's reported that both Allison and Louise appear to have at least woken up before they died. However, the official evidence suggests that none of the bodies were moved post-mortem, despite the appearance that they had been placed in their beds, almost deliberately. 6:30 p.m. that evening, Ronnie DeFeo Jr. runs into Henry's bar, just a block away from his family home, and starts shouting that his parents have been shot. He gathers a group of guys and they head to the house to discover the grisly scene. It didn't take long for the police to arrive, and they moved Ronnie Jr. away for both his safety and to ask him questions. This is when the stories began, and Ronnie Jr. had a lot of stories. He told the police that the killings had been carried out by a mob hitman. Connections between the mob and the family had long been the talk of rumours in the community. Ronnie Jr. said an old associate of his father's, by the name of Louis Fellini, was behind the killings and had threatened to murder his father after a falling out some years earlier. Ronnie Jr. claimed he hadn't been there for dinner earlier that evening, as he was sick of his mother's poor cooking, a detail that didn't really hold much water once it became evident the family had been killed some 14 hours earlier. After 12 hours of interrogation, it all came spilling out of Ronnie Jr. He spoke about his hatred for his family, how Ronnie Sr. had abused him for years, how he hated his family. He referred to his younger brothers as pigs.
What?
The previous night, while sat in his basement, watching the 1969 film Castle Keep, he decided he had had enough. He went to his parents' bedroom and shot them both in their sleep. Seemingly his intention had only been to kill his parents, but after that first act of violence, he couldn't stop himself. In a frenzy, he stalked from room to room, executing each and every one of his family members. A fact that Ronnie Jr. has never been able to explain. No one was surprised by this turn of events. Ronnie Jr. had been threatening to murder his parents for years, even leading to a psychologist warning Ronnie's mother that they needed to have him committed before he finally acted. Ronnie Jr. had been the victim of his father's abuse for years, and that combined with his heavy use of heroin, acid and speed took a severe toll on his mental health, until one day he just decided that he couldn't take it anymore. Then the court case began, and as did Ronnie's many, many different versions of events. Ronnie Jr. seemingly decided he would try to persuade the court he was insane, and therefore not responsible for his actions. This could explain the conflicting and downright strange stories that Ronnie came up with. However, these conflicting stories continue to grow and spiral up until his death in 2021. Among his many claims over the years, he said that he was sat in the basement watching TV when he overheard his family plotting to kill him, and he decided to murder them first. He also claimed his sister Dawn had in fact killed his father, and that his mother had killed his siblings before he turned the gun on her. He claimed he drugged his family, which would explain why they were all found in their beds in such a strange manner. However, there were no drugs found in their systems. He's claimed that his sister and a number of other assailants assisted him in the murders. He's claimed he heard voices that told him to kill them, and even that a female demon in a hood with black hands brought him the rifle to do the deed. Ronnie's wild stories didn't help though. A court psychiatrist diagnosed him with antisocial personality disorder, and he was sentenced to spend the rest of his life behind bars. Chapter 2: The Haunting.
All right. Before we get to the haunting, let me catch up on the chat. I'm a little behind here. Jerry, I already got that one. Yes, congratulations again, Jerry. For sure. I saw that DJ joined the chat. What's up, DJ? I hope you are doing well. Hope you're doing well. Michelle saying she's back. Welcome back, Michelle. Jerry is gifted 1 Movies and Beyond membership. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you so much for that, my friend. It means the world to me, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. James saying, how in the hell could you not hear a gun going off in a house? Dude, like that's what gets me about this whole thing. Now, there's a lot of things with this too that I didn't know. You know, like I said, you know, basics. I knew the basics of what happened, but some of the detail that they're going into here, where you talk about, you know, him, you know, being heavily influenced with drugs and everything like that. Like I didn't know all that, and that a psychiatrist warned the family, like, hey, you need to do something with him ahead of time. Like I had no idea about any of that stuff, and I'm definitely glad, you know, that they went this direction. I knew that his stories were conflicting when, you know, he was in court, but I didn't know it was to this degree. Like he seemed to give so many different versions of what happened. You almost have to think like, wow, like, okay, this guy's definitely not playing with a full deck, but I don't know. We'll see as it goes on, James. I agree with you 100% on that. Let's see. DJ is saying, did you ever talk about your overnight vacation trip for the paranormal trip? Not yet, my friend, but that is coming up very, very soon. That much I promise you. I know I've said it a lot of times, but I promise that it is. Let's see here. Val is saying that I remember this being all over the news when I was a kid. Yeah, I know it was very popular. You know, I don't go back that far, so I can't, you know, really speak on that part of it. But from what I do understand, yes, it was very, very famous, a very famous haunting. Let's see. And James agreeing with that statement. Yes. Oh, let me see. James is saying if not for sure, it might have been in 74 or 73. They said 74 at the beginning. So right there, you know, in the area for sure. Val is saying the story freaked everyone out back then. Things like this happening were so very rare. I can imagine. I mean, you think about today, like we watch those paranormal videos and, you know, stuff like that. I'm sure you're speaking more on the incident itself, like the crime that took place there. But you look at today, like social media is a connection of information to whether it's true or whether it's not. And it's just, you know, we're so much more tied together now. There's so many more outlets for us to get information. So, you know, back then to hear things like this, like what back then you had, you know, I'm thinking back to my younger years, you know, in the early 80s. And I remember we had like 6 channels, you know, and the news was only on 3 of them. So yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. Let's see. Let me see. Talk to the Mike is in the chat as well, saying hello everyone. A little late, but I'm here. What's up, Mike? I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're having a great Friday, dude. Happy Paranormal Friday. Let's saying why this is supposed to be real Amityville. Yes, like this is the actual Amityville story. This is a story that actually happened. This isn't the movie. It's their interpretation, well, through them collecting facts and everything on what happened, at Amityville in 1974. Oh, let's see here. Oh, let's see. Eric from the Bearded Entertainment is in the chat as well, and is saying, "What's up, all you paranormal party people?" What's up, Eric? I hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Melissa said she drove by it years ago. I'd like to see it. I wouldn't want to go in there, but I mean, who knows? Knowing you guys, I'd be like, "Hey, I'm in Amityville." They'd be like, "Go in, Michael," and I'd probably be like, "Okay." Oh, let's see. Michelle giving the rundown of it right there. Thank you for that. That's freaking awesome. That is freaking awesome. Let's see here. Michelle is also reminding everyone to hit that like button. Yes, if you haven't hit that like button yet, please do so. Let's see. Val is saying, "I've always believed that he suffered a mental break from the mixture of drugs he was heavily taking." I mean, it sounds like it. Like, I didn't really know too much about that. I didn't really know too much about that at all. Let's see. I promise it's gonna happen. It is going to happen, Melissa. I do promise that. I think, let's see. Trying to get through everybody here. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get back into it. Now we're on the section called The Haunting.
Just 2 weeks had passed when a new family arrived at 112 Ocean Avenue, ready to start a new life. George and Kathy Lutz
Damn, a
looked up at
haunting
their new
after 2
home
weeks?
that they had just paid $88,000 for. They knew the history of the house and had spoken to their family about it, declaring themselves as not a superstitious bunch. The family couldn't turn down such a beautiful home and at such a steal, and decided that the unfortunate history was worth it. They entered their new home to discover it still full of the DeFeo's belongings, all except for the mattresses that were missing from each bed. What followed are 28 days that would become one of the most infamous hauntings of all time. The information in this section is all taken from Jay Anson's best-selling novel about the Lutz's experience, as well as from interviews with George and Kathy. Much like the murders themselves, there are a lot of conflicting stories on what exactly happened here, but we'll get to that later.
Here we go.
The strange activity began almost immediately. In the first hour of being there, the Lutz's dog was chained up to a tree in the garden. For seemingly no reason, the dog suddenly decided to leap over the gate, his chain still attached to the tree, hanging itself over the fence by its neck as the family rushed to save it. One of George's friends suggested that due to the history of the house, they should ask a Catholic priest to come and bless it. Thinking they had nothing to lose, George agreed, and shortly after they moved in, a priest came to clear the house of any residing spirits that may be remaining there. The house unsettled the priest from the moment he laid eyes on it, but it was only once he entered the upstairs bedroom, the room where Dawn had slept, that he was overcome with a true sense of dread. He asked the Lutz what they were planning to do with this room, and they stated it was to become a sewing room. The priest declared that should be fine, but in his opinion, no one should ever sleep in this room. The incident with the priest suddenly became more extreme when he felt what he claimed was a slap across the face before hearing a deep voice telling him to get out. Later, after getting home, it was reported that he was covered in sores.
Look, all I'm going to say real quick. What's up, Dominic? I hope you're having a good Friday, buddy. Welcome. If my place is haunted, I call a priest. He comes in and he gets slapped and it tells him to get out. And he's telling me there's a room I don't need to be in. Look, guys, I'm out. I'm sorry. I'm going back to the bank. Like, I made a mistake. Let me get my refund. I'm done. Like, there's no way.
Boils all over his hands. Kathy claimed that early on she felt a presence embracing her from behind. She wasn't sure why, but she instinctively felt that it was a woman, and that the embrace was supposed to be comforting rather than threatening. She often smelt the woman's perfume around the house. The Lutz's youngest daughter suddenly started talking to an imaginary friend called Jody. She claimed that Jody was a pig with glowing red eyes that would watch over her through her window as she slept.
Nope.
Jody told their daughter that they would always live there. Both George and Kathy claimed to have seen those red eyes peering through windows at night.
Nope.
In December, on a snowy night, the family once again saw Jody's glowing red eyes, watching through the window as they watched TV. George ran outside to investigate and found hoofprints in the snow. George also discovered a hidden room that was not on any of the floor plans of the house. Hidden in the basement, the room was painted red, and they claimed it had a strong stench of human feces inside. One of the more subtle moments among the grander examples of haunting phenomena is one that I find most chilling. Over the weeks that the family stayed in the house, the children began to sleep on their stomachs, something they hadn't done before. All of this is strange, but it seems George was the focus of whatever was residing in the house. He started to become obsessed with fire, insisting that he needed to keep the fire burning in the living room. He would spend hours out back chopping wood, seemingly due to the fact that since he was in the house, he was constantly cold, something the rest of the family were not experiencing. George would hear sounds at night. It would range from footsteps to screams, and even loud music being played from multiple sources, all at odds with each other. But he could never find the source of any of these nocturnal noises. One night, he tripped over a lion ornament in the living room, and when he looked down at his leg, he saw what appeared to be bite marks. While Kathy may have felt a kind embrace, and their daughter was making friends, the house was having a dark effect on George. He became increasingly irritable and aggressive with his family. His personal hygiene became considerably worse, and he began to wake up every night at 3:15 a.m, the same time the DeFeo murders were said to have taken place. The activity grew more and more extreme as time went on.
That's kind of a
Their
dick deal for
possessions would be
George.
covered in what appeared to be strange black mold. Green slime would ooze from the ceiling, dripping down to the carpet below. Swarms of insects, most notably flies, would be in the room Dawn once slept in, but there seemed to be no way to get rid of them. Then the activity became more violent. Cupboard doors would be slammed, doors broken off their hinges. The banister rail on the stairs was found ripped off. In one incident, an open window suddenly slammed shut, trapping one of the children's fingers in it. It came to a head a little after a month of moving into the home. George woke up in the middle of the night once again, but this time he couldn't move. His bed shaking from side to side, as if it was being lifted over and over by some unseen force. He then saw Kathy levitating across the bed, her face switching to that of an old woman before his very eyes.
What?
What happened after that is unknown. The Lutz family always refused to talk about what happened that final night in the house, a secret that both George and Kathy took to their grave. Since this is one of the most well-documented paranormal cases of all time, it really makes you wonder what happened. It was so bad, they could never bring themselves to talk about it. Whatever happened, the family left the next morning, leaving their belongings behind, and never returning. Before we jump into the investigation, I noticed something odd. Although I knew the story of the Amityville Horror, it had been a long time since I'd read the details. I I started writing this video on the 13th of November. Just a fun coincidence that I didn't notice when I sat down to create the video. However, to add to it, the same night I started writing this episode, the app I use to track my sleep claims I was awake around 3:15
I
a.m.
knew he
for
was going to
20
say
minutes.
3:15.
I have no memory of this. Chapter.
I knew he was going to say 3:15. I don't know. Like, here's the thing with all this. Like, if they didn't ever want to talk about it, they didn't really exploit it, right? I mean, you left, they say they paid $88,000 for that house, and you left all your shit. So, I mean, it's tough to say. Like, you really never know, for sure. Like, you can never be 100% certain. But I do know that if you leave all your shit and you paid $88,000 for a house, there's something going on that's making you get the hell out of that house. Like, I feel like that. But we'll see. We will see what happens.
3. The investigation.
The investigation. I think this is where
2 months later,
Warrens
the Lutz
come
story
into
was
play.
beginning to get a lot of attention. A reporter decided to pull together a team of psychic researchers and spend the night in the home. And it just so happened they were able to get 2 of the most notable paranormal investigators of all time, Ed and Lorraine Warren, a controversial pair that we have covered on the tape library in the past. George Lutz met with the Warrens to give him the keys to the house, but he refused to go any closer than a restaurant 4 blocks away. Ed tried to ask George more about what happened there, but George refused to talk, Ed suggesting that he appeared to still be too shaken to want to talk about it, especially what had happened on the final night. The investigators were all shocked by what they saw when they entered the house. It felt like a ghost ship. All of the Lutz's belongings were still there. Dirty dishes sat in the sink. Their brand new boat sat in the boathouse. George hadn't even come back for his custom motorcycles that were kept in the garage. When entering the house, both of the Warrens claim they were hit with overwhelming sensations. In an interview with the pair, Ed makes it very clear that he is not clairvoyant, nor is he sensitive to the spirit world. However, he said the second he stepped inside the house, it reeked of death. The pair went in separate directions. Ed down to the basement, Lorraine upstairs to the bedrooms. Both claimed to be hit with the strange sensation of powerful rushing water falling on them. In the basement, Ed encountered what he described as a powerful demonic force, while Lorraine saw in her mind's eye the image of bodies all lined up on the floor of the sewing room, supposedly the bodies of the DeFeos, before the coroner took them away. The Warrens have shared many photos from the investigation. One of them appears to show a number of religious statues in the back garden. Apparently these predate the Lutz's moving in. The statues all come from St. Joseph's Shrine in Montreal. Ronnie DeFeo Sr. had travelled to Montreal just 6 months before his murder, but he didn't return alone. He came back with these statues, as well as a priest who was supposedly an exorcist. When asked why Ronnie had brought an exorcist to the house, he simply said, "I've got a devil on my back." The Warrens weren't the only paranormal researchers and psychics that were brought to the house that night. All of those that partook in the investigations claimed to have experiences in the house, ranging from feelings of intense terror, heart palpitations, all the way up to communicating with spirits, and even visions of an Indian chief. The group conducted a seance, during which Lorraine Warren proclaimed that there was an evil in this house from the bowels of the earth. They claimed that this evil had been there long before the murders. It's worth checking out interviews with the investigators if you want to hear further about the many experiences they had, but I really wanted to highlight what I think is, regardless of your beliefs, one of the creepiest events to take place during the entire Amityville saga. A number of cameras were set up around the house that were placed on automatic timers. These cameras were set so they would take a photo every 5 minutes, with various people walking about, and hours worth of photos that seemed to show nothing in particular. Most of the photos were filed away, not investigated much further. However, some years later, a young secretary was going through the Warrens' library of photos from the Amityville investigation. She was pregnant, and said every time she got to one specific photo in the set, her baby would kick. She looked at the photo. It was the same doorways at the top of the stairs she had already seen a dozen times. That wasn't until she noticed something odd in the bottom corner. There, looking from the doorway, appeared to be a young boy. His eyes glowing, staring directly into the camera. Before we delve into the controversies around this case, eyes glowing.
We're gonna go ahead and pause that there. So I'm gonna ask questions. They may get the answer. Sure, it's not somebody's kid just running around up there. It'd make me feel a lot better if it was. Like, if that is like legit. Like, if that is legit, I'm freaking out. I'm sorry, I'm freaking out. That freaks me out. It does.
Staring directly into the camera. Before we delve into the controversies around this case, and believe me, there are many, I just wanted to thank you for watching all the way through to the final part. If you've enjoyed this video, I have lots more on the way. In the coming weeks, I'm going to be sharing some of the true paranormal encounters that people have shared with me, visiting a house that would give Amityville a run for its money, and taking a deep dive into one of the greatest paranormal investigation shows of all time. So if you don't want to miss out, then please click subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another entry into the tape library. Chapter 4, The Controversy. The haunting at Amityville has ignited my imagination, as it has for many others for decades now. Everything about this story feels like it's ripped straight from a horror movie, and as much as I want this whole thing to be true, there are a lot of inconsistencies that need to be addressed. First, let's take a look at the crime itself. In the story of his life, Ronnie Jr. is the very definition of an unreliable narrator. Picking holes in Ronnie's various accounts of the murders would be a video in and of itself, just because of the sheer number of different stories he has told over the years. A number of people have interviewed Ronnie, and a book on the murders was written in the early 2000s that suggests Dawn was an integral part of the murders. In some versions of the story, she convinced Ronnie to do it. In others, she carried out the murders herself. It's also been suggested that Ronnie committed the murders along with Dawn and two others. There was evidence found on Dawn's body that suggests she may have fired a gun that night. Ronnie claimed that the plan was just to kill their parents, but Dawn had gone crazy and started shooting the kids. Ronnie tried to get the gun off her, killed her by mistake. On the night of his arrest, supposedly Ronnie's grandfather was overheard telling his grandson that he didn't want to hear any more about his sister, and that he was going to take the blame for this. There have also been numerous rumours over the years that Dawn and Ronnie Jr. were extremely close, and may have even had an incestuous relationship.
What?
To add to the version of events that seems to implicate Dawn DeFeo, supposedly the family had been involved in something rather shady leading up to the murders. A DEA agent had been placed outside their home to stake it out. The night of the murders, the DEA agent supposedly saw Dawn DeFeo walking out of the house carrying a rifle, wearing a hood and black gloves, much like the description of the demon that Ronnie claimed had handed him the gun. One criminologist suggested that it appears the bodies were in fact moved after their deaths, to be placed in the beds. However, this has never been confirmed, and the official ruling by the investigators in court was that the bodies were not moved. It's worth noting that despite these rumours and accusations, no one else has officially been implicated in the murders of the DeFeo family. The official story is that Ronnie DeFeo Jr. murdered his family as they slept in their beds. Then the hauntings and subsequent events. As I said, this story feels like it's been ripped from a horror film, and many have suggested that maybe it has been. The Lutz story came out not long after a little-known novel and movie came out, The Exorcist. The Exorcist was a worldwide phenomenon that brought the idea of the devil back into the public zeitgeist. Battle between the good Catholic priests against the demonic entity that could move furniture, levitate people, and spray green slime around. All very familiar concepts that are contained in the Lutz story. The priest who claimed he visited the Lutz home later made a statement under an affidavit that he never actually stepped foot into the property.
What?
And only spoke to George Lutz over the phone. This is completely at odds with every other account of the incident the priest gave. The Lutz's neighbour had a large Persian cat that Ronnie DeFeo apparently referred to as Piggy due to its size. It was prone to sitting in a tree next to 112 Ocean Avenue, its eyes reflecting light as it watched the inhabitants through the windows. The day they claimed they saw the hoof prints in the snow, there was reportedly no snow in Amityville on that day. The new owners of the house after the Lutz point to the discrepancies in the weather as evidence that the stories contained in the latter book, The Amityville Horror, are fictional, although Ed Warren suggests this might not be that much of a smoking gun.
Now, people said, well, there was no snow called for that night. The Weather Bureau didn't call for snow. The Weather Bureau is never wrong, are they? But did you ever see it snow on one side of the town and not on the other side?
Sure,
Yes,
sure.
Positively. So they picked on little things like
Little
this.
things, they grabbed it.
Yes.
Speaking of the new owners, they were adamant that there was nothing wrong with the house. A key point of this is that when they moved in, despite the Lutz's claims of doors being blown off the hinges, along with a whole host of other incidents of destruction, they claimed that when they purchased the house, there was nothing to suggest anything had happened.
This is the original banister. In the book, it was supposed to have been torn out of its hinges and completely demolished or something. As you can see, it is the original banister. It's been here, like everything else, 50 years, and it's still in perfect condition.
Quote, January 2nd. Holding his nose, George forced open the paneling and shone his flashlight around the red-painted walls. The stench of human excrement was heavy in the confined space. It formed a choking fog.
My name is Patty Camarado. I was friends with Allison DeFeo, this girl who was murdered with the rest of her family here in 1974. This I'm going to show you is the mysterious red room that's so noted for in the book. This door, which they say was never here, was here, is here, always will be here, I suppose. This is the red room. Nothing more than a storage area where Allison and her brothers and I used to keep toys. Just red, you know? There's never any feeling of spirit presence or ghosts or any sort of thing like that. It's just a play area. Used to keep toys. Nothing more than that.
This is the door of our home. In the book, it became a 250-pound door, which was completely blown out of its frame and off its hinges. As you can see, it's the original door, solid as a rock, immovable, and quite innocent.
Once again, Ed Warren takes issues with the new owner's claims. In an interview, he states that visitors to the house since the Lutz left complained of horrific smells, and also that the new owner's parked car burst into flames outside the house. The window that supposedly would slam shut all by itself was apparently caused by a creaky floorboard, and a window with an incorrect counterweight. In a bizarre turn of events, Ronnie DeFeo Jr.'s defense attorney, William Weber, became involved with the Lutzes after they left the house. He brought them the proposal of a book and movie deal for their story. In a long drunken conversation, Weber is said to have revealed elements of the crime they wouldn't have previously known that likely could have influenced their story. Jay Anson wrote the best-selling novel, The Amityville Horror, which made him millions. When asked if the story was true, he was always very reserved to give a definitive answer. However, Anson didn't get to enjoy his riches for long, dying of complications of heart surgery in 1980. Heart-related conditions are a fate that appears to have befallen a number of people involved in the investigations into the Amityville hauntings. And that creepy photo of the boy with the glowing eyes? There are a couple of apparent explanations for this as well. Some have suggested that it is in fact one of the investigators who was in the house that night, his glasses reflecting light to give off the impression of glowing eyes. Others had claimed that someone had brought their 10-year-old nephew to the house that night, although the reporter who arranged the whole thing refutes this and claimed that there were no children present. So where does that leave us with the Amityville Horror? Did George and Kathy Lutz make up the entire story to make money? It's worth noting that while they did make a decent amount out of the book and movie, it paled in comparison to what Jay Anson made. George Lutz has said before that he wishes the book had stuck a little closer to the original story. Speaking of the original story, before it became the best-selling tale of demon pigs and blind priests that we all know today, the Lutz's story first appeared in an issue of Good Housekeeping, but as a substantially more reserved version of events, mostly centered around unexplained sounds and strange feelings in the house. Both George and Kathy took polygraph tests and passed them. While these are obviously not perfect, it does suggest that something did in fact happen to them in that house. I'm also drawn back to Ed Warren's first description of George Lutz, how he didn't want to talk about what happened in the house, how the family refused to discuss what happened that made them leave the house in such a rush, how they left all of their belongings, rather than staying in that house a second longer. Whatever happened to them in those 28 days, both George and Kathy kept to their story until the day they died. I don't believe, as so many others seem to now, that their entire story was made up. I don't think anyone could have predicted the incredible success of the Amityville Horror. And as far as quick rich schemes go, faking a haunted house is a bit of a wild card. I think the Lutz family did encounter something in that house. What that something was, we will never know. I think they were encouraged by a number of outside sources to exaggerate the story,
That makes
to make
sense.
it more marketable,
That does make
to
sense.
create something that could be scarier than The Exorcist. And with dollar signs in their eyes, they went for it. Maybe what they experienced was a simple trick of the mind, brought on by the fact that they were staying in the house where they knew 6 people had been brutally murdered just 1 year previous. Maybe sleeping in the beds that once belonged to those victims wasn't the smartest of choices. But maybe, just maybe, there was something. Maybe it wasn't demons. Maybe it wasn't some sort of all-powerful poltergeist that could rip doors off of hinges and assault priests. But maybe there was some sort of an echo. Maybe if you happened to move into a house where something so unbelievably evil happens, some of that grief, some of that pain, some of that horror remains. Regardless of what you believe, the one thing we know for sure is that we don't know what happened during that 12-month span in 112 Ocean Avenue. George and Kathy Lutz are dead, and 1 year ago Ronnie DeFeo Jr. passed away. He never came clean about what happened in that house on November the 13th, 1974. Or if he did, we would never know what parts were truth and what parts were lies. The mystery of the DeFeo murders died with Ronnie. Thank you for watching. When you are lying in bed tonight, and you happen to see two small glowing lights in the darkness of your window,
Don't even do it.
just be comforted by the knowledge that it's just a cat. Or at least, it might just be a cat. Pleasant dreams.
All right. So they do a fantastic job. I love how they hit on all the points, because going into these, like, you can already have your mind made up. Like, no, I heard this, I heard that. But the way they lay these videos out and the way that they get into them to where they tell you, the whole story, like, I love it. I love that they'll give you information, but they'll also tell you about, the controversy that goes with it too. Like, that's so cool. Let me try to catch up on some of these chats. I'm so sorry, you guys. I got locked in with that. I knew that Michelle threw up a fun fact. Did you know that the original address was changed to 108 Ocean Avenue to protect the privacy of the home's current occupants while deterring tourists? I did not know that. That's freaking awesome. That is freaking awesome. Patrick says, yeah, blame the cat. Yeah, when they were talking about the cat it was the cat. It was the cat. Michelle says they changed the address, blurred on Google Maps. Oh, now you're gonna make me look. Now you're definitely gonna make me look. Lost Legends TV is here saying, long time no see, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I caught the stream just in time. This is right down my alley. What's going on, fellas? I hope y'all are doing well, man. It has been a minute. We'll definitely have to catch up soon. Great to have you here. Great to have you hanging out here for sure. James is saying a red-eyed cat. Now that's crazy. That is crazy. That is absolute madness. Madness, I tell you. Let's see, James. I actually saw this pop up while I was watching it and started laughing. He said, how do you know it was human poop? The poop could be from the red-eyed cat. It could be. See, James, they might not have thought of that. They might not have thought about that. Patrick says, I think it was dog poo, and they blame the cat. Always blame the cat. Always blame the cat. Let's see here. Patrick is saying, I believe the Lutzes. Yeah. I mean, lie detector, right? They didn't change their story all the way up until their death. I mean, there's a lot of things there that can support that for sure. Like, there is a lot of stuff there. I think that the author of this video and the narrator did a great job, like, explaining everything. And the conclusion he came to was, something probably did happen, but it was probably embellished, for the story. And that made a lot of sense to me. Not saying that that's the right answer, but it does seem logical that, something like that could happen for that. Like, it made perfect sense. It did make perfect sense. Let's see. DJ said it also looks like a college dorm house or a barn. Yeah, the freaking house. It is definitely unique. But growing up and seeing the movie when I was younger, that house is recognizable for me like anywhere. It's just like the Myers house or, the Nightmare on Elm Street house, the Amityville house, like that stands out. Like, for me, I've never looked at the Amityville house and been like, I wonder what house. No, it is very unique. At least in my mind, I've never really seen another house that looks like it. Not to say that there aren't any. I just haven't seen them for sure. Looks like Charles Manson. Yeah, he did look like Charles Manson. In the handcuffs there, he definitely did. He definitely did. Talk to the mic is saying, I still want to spend the night there. Yeah, well, would I spend the night at Amityville? Not alone. Like, no. The answer for that for me is no. Would I do it in a group, like a Movies and Beyond trip? Maybe. I don't know what you would have to do that, because there are like current like occupants now, right? You're just not going to be like somebody walking up to their house like, hey man, this is the Amityville house and I have a YouTube channel. Can I sleep on your couch tonight? Like, no, I don't think that's a possibility, but I don't know. It might be kind of cool, but like I said, I don't think that it's possible. I don't. Let's see. Jerry said, let's book it. Let's book it. Jerry's all about it. He said, yeah, Amityville, Schmamityville. Let me in. Let me in. James said there's a house that looks like that over in Hamilton, Ohio. Well, that's cool, man. That is freaking cool. Vid Inquiries, what's up? I saw you came in the chat earlier and I didn't say what's up. What's going on, Vid Inquiries? Good to see you here. Happy Paranormal Friday. I know it's towards the end, but I hope you're having a great week. Vid Inquiries is saying, no way, not unless it was loaded with holy water and garlic. You got to throw the garlic in there. You know, I always thought that the garlic was like a vampire deterrent, but hell, man, I mean, you never really know. You never really know what could be in there. So, yeah, just throw the garlic in there too. Throw the crosses, the garlic. I want it all. Give me everything. All the protection things. I want them for sure. Talk to the mic is saying, bring beer and a scary movie for the owners. Yeah, well, I mean, that would be if I could get away with that, yes, totally. Seriously. Wouldn't it be crazy to watch the movie Amityville in the Amityville house? And you know there's people that have done that. Like, that would be fucking sick. Like, that would be so fucking awesome. I would totally do that. Paula is saying, I agree with everyone. And no, I do not want to spend any night in there. And I really can't blame you for that. I really can't, for sure. Michelle is saying, I do believe that drugs and alcohol played a huge role in what Ronald Jr. did. But why, after years, did he not finally confess? That's truth. And same with the Lutzes as well. You know, like, they never changed. Like, they wouldn't talk about it at all whatsoever. And I mean, if I had a huge secret, now we're just talking about me, they're not me. But if I had gotten over, you know, like my whole life on something, right before I died, I'd be like, it was all bullshit, you know, as I fucking croak. Like, that would just be but that's my personality. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like he would have. But like the narrator was saying, like, how would you even know that he's telling the truth? Because the amount of different stories that he told, like, that's crazy. But I do feel like he would have told, you know, the truth at the I don't know. It's tough. It's definitely tough. Michelle says, I'll go. Oh yeah, man. Why not? Well, I was just saying, talk to Mike. Yeah, just play the OG film. Yeah, the OG film is. I started that not too long ago. I didn't get to finish it though. I think I talked about that earlier. Michelle is saying the public can't stay there, unfortunately. Okay, that sucks. Fit Inquiries is like, right? Why not? Talking about all the protection. Yeah, give it all to me. Like, give me everything. Anything that ever protected anything from any. Yeah, give it all. You know, holy water. Give me silver bullets. You know, give me the little silver nuggets that they used in the original It with the slingshot. I want it all. I want everything when I'm going in there. Cheetah said, holy water and catnip. You got to have the catnip. You do. You know, because that cat's in the tree. I'm not trying to see red eyes stare at me for sure. Jerry said we can put a tent up, Michelle. Just like park it in their yard. Just see what happens. Like, hey, we're gonna tent out here. It'll be freaking fantastic. Val is saying, if I'm not mistaken, the latest owners moved the two creepy ass upper windows. The neighbor down the road now owns them. Oh, really? Interesting. That is interesting. You can't get rid of the windows though. You can't. Let's see. James said I would have a proton pack to get rid of the ghosts. Yeah. Man. Proton pack. Dude, you can't go wrong with a proton pack. Michelle is saying the real house, not the stupid fake film house. He had no financial gain at that, but he didn't. He did not have any financial gain whatsoever. She's also saying that he didn't know he was going to die, but still had a lot of time to talk. Yeah. Yep. I agree. Patrick is saying Ecto 1 is on its way. I want to hear them if I'm in there. Ecto 1. Hell yeah. Oh, yeah. Inquiry said silver nugget. Yes, that's what they were. They were silver nuggets. They were the little, you know, the original, not the remake, but the original. She had the silver nuggets. That's what they look like to me. Let's see. Paula's saying I never saw the movie, but I've seen clips and I'm good with that. That's enough. That's enough for you? Is the clips? I got you. Michelle is saying, yes, Val, they revamped the house and paid around 600,000, I believe. Oh, wow. That's crazy. That is crazy. James is saying the window reminds me of a lunar module. And that's hard for me to say. I don't know why that's hard for me to say. A lunar module. Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. So I'll give a brief closing on what I think. I don't know. I don't know what to think, but I know way more about this story than I did coming in. And that's why I like to do these. You know, we have our Paranormal Fridays where we look at, you know, the spooky videos and we look at all the haunted stuff. And I think that, you know, it's a great time to use this platform to kind of not only just for me, you know, and you guys, but it's for me also, is to kind of educate ourselves on, you know, the famous hauntings. And these are freaking fun. These are really fun for me to do. I hope that you guys are enjoying them as well. I'll have to dig in and, you know, see what'll be next, but that won't be, let's see. So we did this next Friday should be Horror Shorts, the day after Halloween. Yeah, so it'll be a couple weeks before we do this again. I'll have plenty of time to find us another haunting to do, but we'll get into that. Be sure, and I want to tell you guys this before I get out of here. Sunday, 8 p.m., Sunday Horror Hangout. Mad Matt will be here, and we are going to do a 2-year. I don't really know what to call it, but let me say this. 2 years ago, we did our first. I did my first live with Mad Matt, and what we did was we ranked Halloween, and that was 2 years ago at this point, give or take a few days. You know, we're in the day range here. So what we're gonna do is, with it being the Sunday Horror Hangout before Halloween, we are going to re-rank the Halloween movies. It's been 2 years since we've done it, and we are going to see how that differs from what we said 2 years ago. Like, what has changed for us? We wanted to get in and do something Halloween, and what's more Halloween than talking about Halloween? And I can't wait to freaking do it. I can't wait to see the difference. What has changed, you know, in my mind. But the thing is, neither one of us are going back to look at our lists prior. We're going to do that after to see what changed. And I don't even want to see my list. You know, I want to see what changed without being influenced, you know, by a previous list I did. I am going to have to refresh myself on Halloween 6. That's the only one I have to do. So I have to watch Halloween 6 before Sunday. The rest of them are, even Resurrection got played not too long ago. Halloween 6 is one I rarely go back to. I really don't care for that one. Hell, I even watched Halloween 5 not too long ago, and you guys know how I feel about Halloween 5. It's just, oh God. So we will be doing that Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you are free and you want to hang out and talk Halloween, that would be the place to do it. Michelle is saying, I don't get the big deal about the kids' glowing eyes. I have pics of my kids' eyes glow. You know, you're not lying. So here's the thing. Like, when you used to take pictures back in the day and people had red eyes, that was the first thing that popped in my head. That was the first thing. It's like, it could be red eye. You know, like, if you guys remember, and you're old enough to remember, and I know a lot of you guys are, in this chat, when you would get your pictures developed, sometimes you would be, oh man, that was ruined because, you know, of the red eyes. Like that, I not even lying, that popped in my head when I saw that. I get it 100%. Jerry is saying, I would like to see Ed and Lorraine's museum. You know, believe it or not, I would too. I would definitely do that for sure. Let's see. James is saying, love Halloween. Michael Myers, the man. Hell yeah, man. Oh yeah. Michelle is saying, Season of the Witch for me. How long has it been since I've seen Season of the Witch? It's probably been, I don't think it's been quite a year. That might not be a bad one for me to take a look at either before then. I don't think it would change much for me, but definitely one might want to throw that on the list for me as well. Let's see. Jerry is saying, how about H3? Yeah. Michelle saying, if you take a pic in the dark with the flash on, the eyes will glow. Hell yeah. James is saying, Halloween all the way. Val is saying, I have 100 pictures from back in the day with red, everyone having red eyes. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that if I went through boxes of pictures, I would find a ton of them too. I just remember a lot of pictures being that way. I definitely do. Shell agreeing. Vid Inquiries is saying, we just watched Halloween 3 the other day. I've been singing. Oh, the Silver Shamrock song. Yeah, that does tend to get stuck in your head. I feel bad. Yeah, I don't want that stuck in my head. I'll do my best. I will do my best with that. But yeah, so definitely check it out. You know, Sunday at 8, we will be back doing that. I can't wait to do that. I can't wait to revisit it. It's been forever since we've done it. Well, it's been 2 years, so it hasn't been forever, but definitely looking forward to that. I had a blast hanging out with you guys tonight. Everybody that came tonight, thank you so much. I hope you guys had fun as well. And with that being said, you know, I will see you guys Sunday. Sound good? I'll see you guys then. All right. Peace.
Toodaloo, motherfucker.
Hey, you